Hey, Econ Kids. This is Module 39, Growth Policy and Why Economic Growth Rates Differ. Again, Module 39 is part of Section 7 that sometimes we don't really test simply because it's not a ton of stuff in here. But we're going to look at it since we have a little bit of time. Why do growth rates differ? When you start looking at some of this, it's the same reasons why things happen. It's at physical capital changing, human capital changing, technology progress happening. It's those three things that are going to get us uh, bigger growth rates in terms of real GDP. If you can have a technology change occur, like when the dot-com boom happened and the internet age began, that caused everything to rapidly grow. If you could add to human capital by doing things like educating all the kids, right? Starting a 4K childcare program where kids are getting educated sooner and learning more words and all that kind of stuff. Those human capital skills, those are definitely going to help you grow faster than somebody else. The more educated your populace, the more technologically advanced you are. That one, even in terms of physical capital, if you have better infrastructure, if you can invest in your roads so that you can ship things back and forth quicker and safer, those are all things that are going to help change your growth rates and make it better than maybe another country. When you look at government, government does some things for us, and no matter what side of the spectrum you're on politically, you have to admit that an effective running government is going to be better than one that's not effective. If you look at even this virus thing that we're dealing with right now, you look at effective government strategy where people are like all on the same page, trying to make sure everybody gets the resources they need versus the sort of a fractured, kind of halfway, this is happening here, this is happening there, nobody knows what's happening over there, nobody cares what's happening over there, mixed messages. That's a disaster. And when you look at governments that are working effectively, they're going to provide things like physical infrastructure. They're going to make sure your roads and bridges are okay for us to be able to get around. You're not going to have problems because, oh, the bridge is out and there's no money to fix it. Think about human capital and trying to invest in your future. Passing things like college for everybody might not be a bad idea because now all of a sudden maybe somebody goes to college that wouldn't have, comes up with a new idea that maybe wouldn't have been seen yet, and all of a sudden we're better off as a society. Um, Governments in technology, even providing Wi-Fi services for small communities up north, things that are going to try to help our society advance. Those are all positives that are going to make your economy grow. And last but not least, being stable, making sure that people are okay in their house and not worried about having to defend their house, but instead can go to work and not have to sit at home with their, uh, guns saying like, don't take my stuff. With that being said, you have those property rights. You don't have to worry about that, and you can go work. At the same time, we don't want excessive intervention where the government's all over you all of the time. Like nobody needs to know and track your cell phone data so you go from here to there. But at the same time, you want some government interaction so that people are doing what they're told when they're supposed to. Like if you're supposed to be at home having some kind of isolation, then you should do that. The last thing you want to do is go out and spread the virus to somebody else. Well, if they were to need to track your cell phone to make sure that you stayed in your house, then is that excessive at a time like this in a pandemic? That's an interesting question. But that's part of the reason why growth rates are going to differ in different places because they have government that are effective. They can get in, get the problem, and then get out. And that's what we want to see in our government. Is world growth sustainable? Boy, that's a good question. That's stuff that like Malthus was talking about from before the last unit, where it was like, do we have too much population? Like, what's going to happen? So there's three questions you're going to answer. This is going to be an assignment for you. I'll put it out there on Google Classroom. But how large are the supplies of the natural resources that we have? Can technology find stuff for us? And what about long run scarcity issues? Like, what can we do? These are some of the things about like, or just like other questions that we can ask in terms of what about the environment? Uh, is it okay to destroy some things if you're getting these other benefits out of there? Like, what is that cost benefit analysis? Um, Typically, we put economic growth ahead of the environment, but are we getting to the point where, maybe if the environment would have been better, then maybe somebody doesn't have to eat a bat because instead they could maybe grow their own crops. And maybe climate change happened, therefore it's too hot someplace, not growing crops, therefore you're eating an undercooked bat, and now all of a sudden we have coronavirus. Who knows? So as you look at it, it's interesting to see how something one place can affect something someplace else, and then maybe it has something to do with the environment at the same time. Um, that was it for Module 39. Module 40, you're going to do after spring break. Till next time.